Welcome everybody to another vlog. I am joined once again with Highwings89, and together we're going to be reviewing another movie. We haven't done one since the Avengers, and tonight we are going to review Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey. Oh my god. We can't... it feels like a dream come true that a Hobbit movie has finally been released, because words cannot describe how much we've been waiting for a Hobbit movie since The Return of the King and the Lord of the Rings series has been finished, you know?
To be honest, I didn't even think there was gonna be another film like Lord of the Rings or Return of the King. It's kind of nice to see it back, like even in a different form in The Hobbit: The Unexpected Journey.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, it's an amazing movie, and it looks like it's gonna be an amazing journey. Like I just can't wait to see what's to come. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, by
Yeah.
the way, happy birthday, Highwings89.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Just like our previous vlog, we haven't done one since we did the Avengers together. That was like over 5 months ago. We are going to just cover up all the things in the movie, and including spoilers. But before you guys shut this off, for those who haven't seen it and don't want to get any spoilers or anything like that, what is your recommendation, Highwings89?
See it now. Like, go. Like, I'm usually a skeptic when it comes to movies, but I really like this one. I think this is the one that's a must see. You have to go see it, whether it's in regular like format or in 3D. You just got to see it. It's I think it's definitely one of the like best movies of this year, or oh my god, or just out there. Like it's that good, I think.
Yeah, my recommendation is that if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this is a treatment for you. Oh my goodness. I am so happy that Peter Jackson came back to the franchise, the Lord of the Rings universe, and made the prequel of the Lord of the Rings. They made The Hobbit. And oh my god, this movie is seriously good. So for those who have not seen the movie in theaters yet, go out in theaters right now. Pay for your ticket. I don't care where you see it. You're on regular theater, on IMAX, on 3D, or whatnot. Whatever you do, just go out there to the movies right now and go see this movie, because I'm telling you right now, we're going to spoil almost everything we've both seen in the movie, because we are just so much of a Lord of the Rings fan that words cannot describe. So,
Like to me, dude, like the movie is that good. Like usually when I watch a movie, I'll probably watch it once and not really see it again in theaters. But like I feel like when I saw Lord of the Rings, it's like I feel like I want to watch it again.
oh yeah, yeah. But before we tackle down to the Hobbit, and before I tell everybody to shut this off for spoiler alerts and all that stuff, what did you think? What you and me and Almuya, we're like the biggest Lord of the Rings fans, and oh my god, we were so much of a fan of the series that we even put it as movie of the decade when we put in the movie of the when we were doing the Buchow Decade Award. All right, on to the topic of Lord of the Rings. Which one was your favorite on the original trilogy?
uh, I don't know. I have to say like, I like the Two Towers, but at the same time, I really like Return of the King. It's a really hard choice because from the first two films, a lot happens, and then what about you? It's like, what was your favorite?
Oh man, I'm just gonna have to say my favorite out of the original trilogy is definitely the Fellowship of the Ring. I'll tell you why. I absolutely loved the scene of the Shire, especially when they were celebrating Bilbo's 100th birthday.
Ah, yeah.
Boy, the fireworks that Gandalf was shooting, and the way the hobbits were all enjoying the meals. It's just like, I wish the whole movie was just about this beautiful movie. But not saying that this movie that the Lord of the Rings series needed to be that way, because of course it would have been a failure if it's just the Shire and just Bilbo's party. But
Mm,
I absolutely love like the thrill and the intensity of like when they were discovering what the power of the ring was all about. Like for example, when when Gandalf first discovered Bilbo's ring, it's just like there was like a lot of heaviness to it that it was just like, we're just gonna have to describe how terrified I was when I first saw this thing a decade ago, and oh man, it's just like I just seeing the jump scares, and it just got me so intense. And even better, the fellowship. Oh my God, from Merry and Pippin, Frodo and Samwise to Boromir to Aragorn, Gandalf, Gimli, and Legolas. The nine members of the Fellowship. It should have lasted longer, if you ask me, man. Because
Yeah, I felt, oh man, I was like, they do this like big opening and like I felt like they did like a great build up to like the Fellowship. Then suddenly the Fellowship only lasts one movie, and I was like, yeah, I felt they should have stuck together. They should have. Oh, I think they could have made it work.
Highwings, I
The,
can't see your eyes, dude.
oh, sorry.
Put your head a little lower. I don't mean to put you down or anything like that. I mean
Yeah.
literally.
Gexup, you're pushing me down. Ow, ow. I'm just kidding.
All right, now we're gonna say to everybody that now the spoilers have started. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, remember, this is The Hobbit. This is the original book before the Lord of the Rings series, the Lord of the Rings trilogy started. The Hobbit, for those who don't know, is a smaller and weaker species than dwarfs themselves. We all thought that dwarfs at that point were weak, but somehow Peter Jackson's made dwarfs look, threatening and muscular and heroic and barbaric
Yeah,
at the same
dwarves
time.
are
And
one of the. I think they're like one of the most badass warriors in all of fantasy lore, dude. You don't want to mess with that dwarf.
yeah, I had a lot of doubts with dwarfs until, Peter Jackson showed me the more visual side of dwarfs that made me change my opinion on the species. But all right, this is a different type of story. It's not what we were expecting about the Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. Instead, this is a treasure hunting. This is a treasure hunting quest that's filled with a lot of thrills, a lot of dangers, a lot of excitement, and a lot of battles that they have to go through to finally reclaim this lost treasure that the dwarfs used to claim. It was in the city called Ereborn, right?
Yeah, airborne.
Yeah, Ereborn. I love that name and title. It's just like Aragorn, son of Arathorn, and all that stuff. And
Oh,
let me see.
Thane, son of Thorn. Sorry. Thorane? Or is it Thane? Never mind.
Okay.
Continue. Oh, wait, dude, before you continue, I like to say that, I never really thought, like, there would be, like the story for the original trilogy was pretty epic. I didn't really think, like, you could top that or you could do another story like that.
Hmm.
And when you see the story and how it unfolds in the Hobbit: The Unexpected Journey, it just does that. Like it is another great epic story that's almost like I feel like it's almost as equal to like to what was going on to the original. Maybe because I guess it also sets up the original too, but like I don't know, I just love the story and where it's going, especially they're going to Aragon. They're gonna reclaim the city, and they're gonna
Not
freaking.
exactly reclaim the city, but try to take back what was stolen from them. And you know what was stolen from them? A freaking epic dragon. This
Yeah.
dragon was completely unstoppable. This is a dragon that not even the Dragonborn from, you know, the Skyrim video game could even handle. I mean, he single-handedly just thrashed right through the dwarf kingdom and stole all the treasure, especially
Yeah,
the one that magnated their most valuable possession. I forgot what the name of the treasure because the storyline the origin of the storyline happened so fast. But
yeah,
it's that one piece of treasure that they discovered that somehow attracted a dragon. But the dwarves, they were outnumbered. They could not take down this dragon. And their only hope was to get the elves to help them back. But instead, the elves betrayed them. They looked
well,
back over them. And then as a result, this became a personal story, a personal rivalry between the dwarves and the elves. And that was just like, whoa. This is something a little more deeper than I was expecting from the Lord of the Rings because the only thing I was familiar with the Hobbit, other than the book, because I only read it once and it was too complex for me to actually read it because there were so many fucking characters that it got my head spinning around. Um, I'm just gonna say that the animated movie of the Hobbit was the only thing I have any personal relationship with, the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit story, and we all know how much they totally edited they totally edited out of that film compared to the books because of course they have to fit in like that 90-minute time limit in order to
Yeah.
actually, you know, make it to a film, and they don't, and the Hobbit book is just like it's so much that it can't be into like a 90-minute film. It had to be 3 hours, and dude, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, I
It
gotta
was.
say, I need more of this movie.
I, I feel the same way too. Like like when the movie was nearing its end, and I felt like, oh no, I think this movie's gonna end. And when it did, I was like, no, I want to see what happens. I want to see more. And
Exactly,
like,
that's how I felt. But
uh,
anyway, this is pretty interesting because I love how the story begins because when as we were told about the origin of the story about how the dwarves lost their kingdom, we just got that nostalgic feeling of seeing Bilbo in his own room writing his old stories and Frodo trying to help Bilbo out and all that stuff. It's just like, nostalgia coming back to me. It's
yeah,
just like, oh my
and it's
god, it's like my 12-year-old self. I just feel like right back at home, and oh my god, just revisiting the Shire is just like so beautiful, and it's just like nothing has changed after all these years, and I'm just so happy to see this. Oh
yeah,
man.
and like, oh my goodness, and I don't know, I just that moment of nostalgia felt like it was. I don't know, I felt that like rush of nostalgia too, especially when like I see like Frodo come into the screen. I was like, oh my god, it's Frodo, and like, and it's like it's setting things up for the Fellowship, and I was like, oh my god, this is before. This is like moments before the Fellowship, and oh my goodness, and
Remember, 60 years before the Fellowship.
yeah, oh my goodness,
And this is
that's
pretty unique to see how how the Hobbit story begun because, oh man, Gandalf he didn't just say hello. He just said, I needed some air. I need someone to actually join with me on this valuable quest." And Bilbo kept denying again and again. But you know
yeah.
what? Gandalf did not accept his denial. He just kept going by putting down this mark. Hey, Highwings, can you move your face around because there's a lot of pixel on this thing.
Yeah, sorry.
There's still a lot of
No,
pixels. Try moving around your hand. No, move your hand like this.
um,
All right, there's less pixels now. I don't
oh,
know. It just keeps the pixels just keep coming
wait.
up every time we're having this fucking lag.
Sucks. Well, I mean, I could wipe the pixels.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how you fix it. All right,
Squeak, 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 squeak.
all right, dude.
Okay.
All right, but
Uh,
I absolutely love this scene because as soon as Bilbo tried to hide away from Gandalf, it was just like he put the mark there, and then all the dwarfs just come in one by one. It's just like, oh my god, they
I
they
love
come
that
in,
scene.
start eating everything they have in his house. It's just like, oh my god, I would have come into somebody's house like this if I were
I,
going to be
I,
treated well and not get kicked out or get sued.
I felt it felt kind of funny too. Like at times I didn't even recognize Bilbo because he seemed so anal retentive when he was young. Like, where is this old adventurous man I saw in the previous films? This cannot be the same person. Then it's like, oh whoa. Then I could kind of see where. Then as the story unfolds, like I could kind of see where Bilbo is coming from and how he might go through a type of arc to be more adventurous. I'm waiting to see that happen.
Hmm.
Oh man, so much good stuff. And the dwarves, oh my god, they're such a colorful. I never would have thought like a bunch of dwarves could be like one of my newest favorite characters in like the Lord of the Rings
Yeah, I
series.
had that same feeling too because I thought nothing could even compare to the awesomeness of like again, Frodo, Samwise, Merry and Pippin, Borin,
Yeah,
Aragorn, Gandalf, and Legolas and Gimli. It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
but my biggest
goodness.
flaw with like trying to follow these dwarves, it's just that I can only identify them of what they look like. The
Yeah.
problem
Yeah.
is, I still can't remember
True.
all their names, dude. Just like
Yeah.
reading the book and trying to follow what the animated movie was like. In this film, I still don't know all the name of these characters.
Well, it's kind of hard to fit all their distinctive personalities in like in maybe like you have like what is it, 14 of them or what, 13 dwarves?
I believe it's. I lost count. There's just too many of these guys.
Yeah, I think there's like what, maybe at least like maybe around 13 dwarves, and it's hard to distinguish all their personalities in just one movie.
Yeah,
But
I only can identify for them for what they look like. Like the Whitebeard dude is the oldest and the wisest. The fat one that eats a lot, and we have the best
yeah,
laugh with this dude. Man, that guy was fucking funny. And also we got this Merry and Pippin lookalike that doesn't even look like a dwarf whatsoever.
or what about that one dwarf that kind of looks like a hut, or kind of like looks like Genghis Khan or something?
Oh, but there's only like one dwarf that I can easily identify, and that's just because he's the leader of the dwarves. That's
King of the
Thorin,
dwarves,
the prince of the dwarves.
the king of the
No,
dwarves
he's
actually.
not king because they don't have a kingdom, and they're lost. They're still, they still don't have a crown, and that's the reason why they're still trying to go after his treasure to not only reclaim the richness of the kingdom, but also give the dwarves their place back.
Well, I mean, like, suppose people refer to him as the king of the dwarves in the movie, though.
Almost king. Remember,
Okay,
he's
they didn't
supposed to
have
be
him.
king because of course, the king got killed by the orcs they were having war with, and oh my god, the main villain of this movie, the pale orc.
Yes. Oh my god. I mean, dude, out of all the dwarves, like, I could easily identify with like right off the back, like Theron is also like one of my favorite like characters build up from that movie. Like, oh my god, there's like it feels like there's like this great manifest destiny about this character, and this there's supposed to be this epic showdown between this pale orc and him. Like, who would have thought that using a log as a shield would be so badass?
Dude, a log. I couldn't even believe that it looked good because I always
Right?
thought that wood is a pathetic weapon, but now I changed my mind. Wood is definitely useful. That's what she said.
It's the new shield. Like, all of a sudden, like, I see him, like, taking out the log. He has the sword. I'm like, oh my god, it's the same log that he used to fight that.
I'm
The
not
pale
calling
orc.
it log or branch. I'm calling it wood.
He has some hardwood, man. Dang, dude, this wood is too hard. It cannot be penetrated. I'm
Dude,
sorry.
that piece of wood was so
Ugh.
good that I can even buy that wood and use it
Ah,
against other people.
probably so. That's some hardwood, man. I gotta stop with these jokes. Oh my god.
Okay.
Wood.
But, surprisingly enough, he used the wood again at the end, but we'll get to the end afterwards. All right.
Yeah. All right.
I absolutely love the fact that this movie, you know, I don't know why he was thinking like an idiot, where he thought that he killed him by just slicing his arm off, and they were just pulling it
Yeah,
back, saying,
that's one thing I didn't like either. Like, he's saying, "Oh, too bad he died from his injuries," and then or even Gandalf was like,
"It's like
okay."
he's dead? Impossible!" I'm like, "No, he didn't. He just lost his arm. It doesn't. That's not where his heart or his undubla amagata was located, unless you're like a species that have like a neck on
Yeah,
a neck
the thing
connection
is
on your
that
arm."
you could clearly see there's some weird doubts on Gandalf and some of the other Dwarfs. Why don't they ever correct him? Like saying, "No, he didn't die." Exactly. Like no one tells him that didn't happen, and oh my goodness, I mean, come on. It's like you can see it in Gandalf's face. Like, Gal, what Gandalf really gonna do? I'm like, tell him what's going on, dude. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's one of the five wizards of that realm. He's not gonna say anything. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh man. Uh. Oh man. Well, where do we go from there? Oh
Uh,
man. I absolutely love the fact that I know a lot of people were complaining that the way this movie started was way too long. I don't want them to get out of the Shire just that early because in the anime movie they just rushed it. They were like, We need a burglar. Oh, there we go again. Again, they've been calling Bilbo a burglar. Why don't you just call him a thief? Because when you say burglar, that means like every house you encounter, you're gonna automatically steal it. It's just like it doesn't even
Well,
sound like
I
you're a
mean,
hero. I know they're
well,
trying to make like a different name for a main character, kind of like they called Frodo the Ring Bearer. But as
well,
a ring bearer, it
Gollum,
actually makes sense. But
well,
as a burglar, it's just like there's nothing heroic here calling him
Gollum called him a thief, so
that.
that helped.
Thieves! Terrible thieves! Kill him!
I
Kill
didn't.
him!
God, I did not realize how scared I was from Gollum. Like, he's just when you first see him, he's a really like kind of ferocious, kind of creepy, scary creature. Oh my God! And I think it was even more scary when Bilbo realized he wasn't an orc. He was something else.
Oh yeah, because he had that weapon that he had that sword that indicated whether or not if an orc or a goblin is nearby. And I'm surprised that there was goblins, but they didn't refer to them as goblins. It's just like a different species to them. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I said, it took them a long time to actually convince Bilbo to actually join them because realistically, people will be hesitant to actually join your wild adventure because you're talking about a guy who's risking his own life just to steal some treasure, and even worse, by the end, it's the deadliest part of the adventure, facing a
Or,
fucking dragon.
or not only that, but like I think anyone would be hesitant when they said, do you promise I'll come back?" And he's like, "No." And like, if you do, you will not be the same. And I'll be like, if that was me, I'll be like, "Thanks, man, but no thanks." I don't know. That's a tough sell, Gandalf. I probably might sign that later or not at all. I don't know. I mean, come on. Anyone who says that to a person is who's gonna honestly join after that. That's like saying, Do you think I'll be safe when I come back, or do you think I'll come back in one piece?" That's like saying no. You will die horribly. Oh my! Or like how that one dwarf said it. It's like your funeral arrangements and by death by incineration.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that this movie, even though it's entitled The Hobbit, I like the fact that it's not the world doesn't all around surround just Bilbo Baggins all the time because
Yeah.
because that's
Oh,
something that I didn't like about the animated movie because they focus a lot on Bilbo Baggins that all the other characters feel like walking drones, and I love the social interaction with the characters. It just feels like this is the Lord of the Rings dialogue that I just was born to
oh my!
experience, and
And that's another thing I love about the movie was that it felt so well edited, and the renditions were amazing. Like
no
from
fucking
like
shaky cameras. That's what I'm happy for.
yeah, I love the transition between like the old Bilbo Baggins and the young one, like Back to the Past.
Hmm.
Like, especially when he's smoking and suddenly like then you see like Gandalf like messing with his like donut smokes and you see a young version of him. Yeah, God, it's so amazing. Like everything's just so refined and done well. Like oh my goodness, it's such a good movie.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
man.
And what was their first encounter on their first adventure? It was like, I'm still trying to remember how to do it chronologically because I'm thinking about all the good stuff, but I'm not thinking about like all the parts together in was set in one timeline. From beginning to end of this movie. Uh,
Actually, I kind of got confused too. Like, because supposedly, Bilbo Baggins, he celebrates his, what, 111th birthday?
mhm.
And 60 years ago, he apparently still looks like he's 20 or 30. Wouldn't he be like, I don't know, 50 or 60 by then? Is that 60 years ago? He's a good looking old hobbit. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
another thing I absolutely love about this film, we get a chance to see Gandalf the Grey. I don't
Oh
like
my god, yeah.
I don't like Gandalf the White as much as I love Gandalf the Grey because the reason why I like Gandalf the Grey is that kind of look like a god figure. I mean, like
Yeah.
Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings looked like Jesus Christ, and Gandalf looked like God himself. And then when he turned to the white, it's just like, oh, that's just too much. There's no
They
humanity in
kind of
there.
look like Father Time at that point.
Yeah, and not to mention that, his behavior and his attitude kind of changed from Gandalf to the White, because in the White he's like I know what I'm doing, but in Gandalf he's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know anything
It's,
about this ring or anything like that. It's just
and
like
he kind of feels more human too. Like he has like he sometimes has doubts. He's vulnerable, and I don't know. He has his own motivations, and especially in this film, like you could kind of see clearly like he has some motivations helping the dwarves at least.
exactly.
Even if all the other even if his other companions are telling him, no, dude, I think this is a mistake, he'll be like saying, no, man, it's like, I know what I'm doing. I think this is right in my heart. I know I gotta do this. And it's like, you see that drive and it's coming somewhere. And it's like, that's just inspiring.
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't realize how much shit this guy was taking from his other companions. Like, especially the white one, you could kind of tell, like, oh, not this a-hole. Like, you could kind of tell, Gandalf does not like this guy. Yeah. Yeah, but I guess he has a thing for that elfish girl. I don't know.
All right, all right. What was their first biggest part of their adventure? Was it like when they first discovered the trolls?
Oh my god, there's like,
I think
oh
it
my
was the
god.
first, because I can't believe I forgot it, because I watched this movie last night. And I can't remember how this all go from transition to transition. All I remember is just like all the good parts and just mix them all up and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
I believe it was the trolls. I believe it was the trolls that was the first biggest part of their adventure, other than just like walking from the Shire to like the lonely mountain.
yeah, like, dude, like, oh my god, those are another thing that I love about this movie. Like, there's this, like, mini, like, big events, like, going on that are just epic on a grand scale. Like, I never really thought that it would be epic or as entertaining. Like then the trilogy, like you have the trolls that are going to eat them, and how
Oh man, the trolls were
Baggins.
so much so entertaining to watch. I was beginning to be fearful that they have absolutely no personality or no not that much good airtime, because the trolls in the anime movie, they were fucking scary, dude. When we were little kids watching it, it's like who's there? It's like, oh my god, I found this creature. I think it's a hobbit. And then Bill was like, dwarves, save yourselves. It's like, now you're giving away their hiding spot, and then they just grabbed them. But instead, the dwarves, when Bilbo was trying to rescue the ponies that the troll stole, oh my goodness, when Bilbo got captured, the dwarves, they all stood and fought
Oh
for
my!
Bilbo.
I always loved it when they would just come in and start like effing crap stuff up and like saving Baggins and doing heroic stuff, especially the music. Like, oh, that starts playing and it's like that's one of the best parts of the film. And oh my god, like I was like, yeah, fuck shit up, kick those assholes. I don't know.
Oh
Cursing
man,
right.
they were just like slicing and dicing these trolls, but they were still powerful. But it was so funny when they were Bilbo was challenging their dim-witted mind, saying like, "You don't want to eat these dwarves. They got
This is the
worms."
favorite part. Yeah, and like that one idiot like dwarf is like, I don't have any worms. I have nothing. And it's like, and the
It's like
king was
it's
like,
like Thorin is just like kicking him. He's like,
kicking.
"Roll with it." It's like, "Yeah, I got a lot of worms, a lot of worms, a lot of
I got
worms."
some big old worms I have in my belly. I'm like, oh my god. Then suddenly, like, I thought it was hilarious when Baggins was like, it's like the best way to eat trolls is skin them alive. I'm like, I was like, no, skin them alive. It's like,
Yeah, and
uh,
also like I love how like they actually have a good explanation why Gandalf had to fled, because the first time, Gandalf and Thor. The reason why Gandalf disappeared is like Gandalf was getting really impatient with Thorin's ignorance, and then he just walked away. It's just like he looked like he abandoned the group. And in the animated movie, he just said, "You must go without me. I must scavenger for something, something." I'm like, yes. What an good explanation of abandoning your group. It's like, and then you come back as a Deus Ex Machina or something like that. But
Oh
you
my god,
know,
dude!
in the animated movie, well, the way they defeat the trolls is like Gandalf released the daylight so early. It's like it's fake daylight, and then it made the trolls into stone. Instead, they were spending so much time like focusing on like arguing with Bilbo that Gandalf had that perfect opportunity to like make the sunlight released on touching the trolls when they don't even realize the time. And then it's like it was so good to finally see the exact pose of like when the trolls were turned into stone, just like in the Fellowship of the Rings.
Oh, dude! Another thing I had to say, like, the weird thing is that this movie looks so big and epic on a grand scale, but it's like some of these scenes were also like they were filmed in Peter Jackson's studio. Like the guy has a huge studio
Mm-hmm.
in his room. I mean, not in his room. Like I think in New Zealand or something. And it's amazing he made like this entire movie in there. But like he uses the special effects so well, and oh my god, it just looks amazing. Especially I don't know, especially the dwarf scene. Like you couldn't believe that it was in the studio. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I forgot. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
but one more thing I want to add. You know, after they got rid of those trolls, that was like one of the biggest highlights I was looking forward to seeing this film. It's like, are they going to do it better than the animated movie? Yes, they did. And
Oh
okay,
my god! And that all that loot they found in the trolls cave. I thought it was kind of funny. Like all of a sudden, hey, look at all this gold. Let's take a chest and dig it in the floor, and we're making a deposit. And like,
oh, that was when they found those elvish weapons, right?
yeah. Oh my god. I
And those
really.
were fucking useful because those were great plot devices for like what's going to be. It's like building up to what's going to be happening later in the screenplay. You know?
Yeah, and oh my, I really wish Bilbo at least went up to what's his name? Aragoth? Eridon? Oh God.
Thorin?
No, the elvish guy. Like I
Oh,
wish
I know what you're exactly talking about. It's oh god, what was his name? It was Elrond.
Elrond. I wish he would have at least went up to him and asked what his sword was named or what legacy it had.
Oh yeah, probably they put that in the deleted scene, and probably we're gonna have to wait till the limited edition of the freaking the freaking Hobbit Unexpected Journey Part One to actually be included. Like yeah, that's something that I noticed right now. I'm expecting like
Do you think it was in the books? Did they ever put any backstory on
I
that weapon?
I don't remember. Like I said, the book was too complex for a children's story because you got to have to memorize all these characters' names. And in this movie, they just showed, even though I don't remember if they revealed all the characters' names, but they just gave them like their own voice, their own image, so it's just like it's identifiable. It's like, oh, there's the fat one, there's the old one, and like what we already said before. And um, but this whole movie's not all about like Bilbo, the dwarfs, and Gandalf. We also
Mm.
were introduced to this new character I was not expecting. I totally forgot it was also in the books. It was who was it? It was Ragastar the Brown.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's like.
No, Radagast the Brown. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, and that other white like wizard, he doesn't like the brown one because he eats mushrooms.
Yeah, Reach Mushroom. He's a hippie.
Yeah.
And for crying out loud, he grabbed the hedgehog, put him in this room, and tried to recover it from dying. It was like, and what was really intense is that these giant spiders were like trying to bash in. It's like an evil spirit, or it was something strange. It was just like an evil spirit trying to
Yeah.
come towards it just because it's trying to harm this the brown wizard just because it's trying to heal this hedgehog.
Dude, I have to say, like when they mentioned that the brown wizard eats shrooms, or I mean, eats mushrooms, like people in the theater laughed at that part.
Yeah,
That was a
mine
good
too.
one.
But I was really expecting. I did not expect this character to show up. I mean, I totally forgot him in the books, and I'm like, who the heck is this character? Is this like a lost dwarf that's going to join Bilbo and his gang? And then
Yeah.
no, it was like this, this brown dwarf, and I mean not this brown dwarf, the brown wizard, and not he, that's really cool. They also have a green wizard, the red wizard, we haven't seen them yet, but they mentioned them in the movie, and it's like, oh
And
my god, I so can't
one,
wait for the other the next upcoming sequels for the Hobbit movie.
yeah, I can't wait to see it either. Like, oh my god, the Brown Wizard, he was so entertaining. Like, he was such a character, and he has like a legion of of chariot rabbits.
Didn't he kind of remind you of Barbossa, the good version of Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh my, probably so. I mean, he had that weird like kind of bird thing going on the side of his face.
Yeah,
Because
and he had a
he
bird
has a
nest in his
nest.
hat. You know, that's and he even has like rabbits. He even has rabbits to ski him when he tied him up on his ski, like like Santa Claus with his reindeers.
Yeah, oh my god. And like I thought it was also kind of funny like his rabbits almost ditched him when like he was running from the dead fortress like no and I was like oh my god is he gonna make it oh he made it I was like oh man for the rabbits themselves were funny characters too like,
Yeah,
uh,
like we said, the arch nemesis, the pale orc, right? You know,
yeah
it's they're being followed by the pale orc, and they're being like, and these orcs are a lot different than what we were than what we were experiencing in the Lord of the Rings movie. These aren't these used to be an army, but they're like now scavengers, and they have like an army of dogs. These canine wolves that they use for like tracking and for their own fighting. It's just like, oh my god! Every time we encounter these dudes, it's it's threatening. But back on like Radagast, the Brown. Well, his purpose of the movie is like he was experiencing this other evil other than what we were you know facing against the pale orc. Remember the
yeah
Necrocon? What was
yeah
that?
the necromancer
The Necromancer. That's right. Oh my god! When we saw that coming out, it felt like the
oh
presence
god
of the the Black Riders were coming out there because
yeah
the
totally.
Black Riders. I'm gonna tell you, they were like the most intimidating thing I've ever seen in a movie when I was 12 years old. Now it's
Oh
kind of
my
laughable because they can't kill hobbits, but back then
god
I felt like goosebumps. I felt like I was gonna cry in tears because these were like the most evil looking motherfuckers you have ever seen in your life. And
yeah
the presence of the necromancer is like, oh my god, I so can't wait to see the second film just to see how fucking scary this thing is gonna be. And I was expecting like jump scares, but surprisingly enough, this movie in the Lord of the Rings franchise did not have a single jump scare as far as I can remember. Because
dude
remember in the Fellowship of the Ring when Gandalf was trying to reach for the ring when Bilbo
yeah
dropped it, it was just like when he touches like, I'm like, oh god damn it! Or even when Bilbo saw Frodo holding his ring, and he's just like, please keep it away from me. And then he started jumping out with his growing sharp teeth. It's like, I'm like, Jesus Christ! I jumped out of my seat like somebody put an attack under my ass, man. It's just like, oh my god.
Dude, I have to say, like, I don't know. I felt like this movie it didn't need like jump scares, and to be honest, it scared me at sometimes at some parts of the movie without using jump scares. That's how good the movie is. Like, especially like, oh my god, I was really terrified at what Gollum would do to Baggins, like down in the cave. Like, oh my god, the buildup was so scary and intense. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Because you kind of forget that Gollum was also a hobbit too, and he could sneak up on people,
Hmm.
and he's like this weird, demented, twisted, ugly, scary character. I thought at any moment he probably would have eaten like Baggins, like right there and then or something.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, one more thing I also want to mention. Okay, nothing else I want to mention. Let's continue on with the story. Remember when they were up in the fields? Um, okay, when they were walking up the fields, and then they were facing. I think this is like the first time that they were facing the orcs. With their Belverine type of dogs. Remember those dudes? and
Oh my
how
god.
fucking intimidating they were. You know, this is like after they saw like the brown elf, right? And you know the brown elf, all he was doing is distraction. He was like, what was that one joke? It was like he's like, I'll be a distraction, and Gandalf was like, he's like, a
Those
distraction.
wolves are
You can't be a
going
distraction. You're
fast.
too slow. It's like, I have a bunch of rabbits that can outrun these animals. And like, it's like,
Yeah. And people were laughing at that part too, and like he was like saying, "I like to see them try," and he was doing pretty good. Like, oh my
exactly,
god.
yeah. And he was like really, he was like really doing a great job distracting these monsters. Um, and you know, while the group of dwarfs and you know Bilbo's group and we're all trying to like escape out of the fields and all that stuff. It's just like, oh my god, they're succeeding, but at the same time, they're gonna fuck up soon. It's just like they got as soon as they found one of the orcs and they killed one of them. The pale orc heard heard the noise and he's like they're over there. I can smell dwarfs. And then they
Yeah.
stopped chasing the brown wizard and went after these dudes. And man, I had goosebumps. Like this is like back in the old days when Frodo and his other Hobbit friends were getting chased after the freaking the freaking Black Riders, and it's like, oh my god, this is
Yeah,
just
dude.
fucking intense. And
I
it's just like Gandalf was like doing once again, going looking all over the place to find the distraction. I mean, find a way out. And then finally they found a hole, but at the same time the elves were coming for the rescue, but the dwarves did not want to be involved any way, shape, or form with the elves because they still have a fucking grudge against what the elves done, like betrayal and not helping them when they lost their kingdom
yeah,
against the
what to
dragon.
be
Remember?
honest, like I felt like the dragon was so badass that even the elves were like, "Oh, screw this shit, we're going home." Like, I
Oh,
mean, come
and
on, it's like the damn thing just broke into the door and they didn't even fight. That thing just rolled in there, just made that their kingdom his home or something.
yeah,
Like, oh my god, I was wondering, would it really made a difference if the elf kind of came there like after the dragon broke in, like. I don't know. I feel like it might have just there could have just been more slaughter or something.
all right, but this passageway, right when they were hiding away, there's a good reason why the elves came by and came nearby because they're right next to Rivendell.
Huh?
Remember Riverdale? When
Oh
Frodo got
yeah.
fucking poisoned, and they had the only way they can cure him was get Elvish medicine or something like that. Well,
Yeah.
we're fucking back in Riverdale, and it just looks as beautiful as back as it was back in 2002 when we first saw it on the Fellowship of the Ring. And oh my god, don't you think it was kind of surreal? I mean, it was like nothing has changed, and I'm happy for it because
It's timeless, dude. And
and
that's the
not to
amazing
mention,
part.
okay, everybody but who was everybody but Gandalf uh looked like didn't age at all. Gandalf, he's definitely looked a lot older than he was when they were making the Fellowship of
Yeah.
the original Lord of the Rings. But
But like the lady, what's her name?
oh, it was
Lady.
forgot it was Galadriel or something like that.
She looked like she didn't age like a bit. She still
Oh
looks.
my God,
She looked
she looked as beautiful and like an angel back in like when we first saw her in the Fellowship of the Ring. That's like that's a lot to say.
yeah, dude. She looks the exact same way she was in the last movie. She looks timeless and beautiful. That's just the amazing thing about this film. Like some of these characters, you just look like they're so still. Like and I guess it kind of works because like this is supposed to be like a prequel and stuff. But
Right.
man,
Well,
it's
I
just
wouldn't call it prequel because the Hobbit story came out first, but you could say
oh
prequel in terms of like which movie came out first. So yeah, let's call it a prequel. Sorry, I didn't mean to be technological.
yeah. But I don't know. It doesn't really feel like a prequel either, though. It just feels like like another beautiful addition
Yeah,
to the series.
but you know,
Yeah.
after like what we experienced from the Lord of the Rings movie, I thought it was kind of surreal to see Saruman coming in as a good guy. I know that in the original
Yeah.
story, he was a good guy, and he was never a bad guy in the beginning. But it was just like You're having these four godlike figures together in one room. Gandalf, Saruman, uh, you know, um, Elrod, and who was that?
Saruman sounds like an evil
Galadriel.
name. Yeah.
Galadriel. They were all together in one room talking to each other. It's just like it felt like I don't know. It felt like a dream come true to see these characters together discussing about the manners about the necromancer. It's just like whoa.
And it feels like the Necromancer feels like it's like a build up to to the what's his name? Solroth? That evil character?
Oh, Sauron.
Yeah, Sauron. To be honest, when I saw the Necromancer, I thought that was Sauron straight up. Like he was like saying, "I'm about to come back, bitch. I'm gonna take the ring."
Yeah, and you know, this is pretty interesting because again, Gandalf is separated from the group because he's there for distraction. He's making sure that the dwarves and Bilbo got their chance to get out because again, the dwarves would never ever want to associate with the freaking elves because the elves. I don't know. It's just like they're being friendly, but deep down inside, they're like, we fucking hate these dwarves. It's like, whatever you guys are hiding, you better tell us now. It's like the dwarves are like, why should we tell you when you betrayed us? It's like, we don't fucking care. Tell us what you have in store now. And then, they had to do it in order to cooperate, but that again.
I kind of view the elves as maybe like an annoying big brother that thinks he knows better and he's like has a superiority complex. But
that again, the dwarf, Gandalf, as wise as he is, he got his chance to get everybody out of the, Riverdale and continue on to the adventure of like getting to the Lonely Mountain.
Dude, do you remember like when they said they were offering them food and when they actually got the food, it was just where's the meat? It's a bunch of like vegetarian stuff. Like,
and then when they were eating meat, one guy had a sausage and the fat guy was sitting on the table and they're like, "Here, have a sausage." The guy grabbed it and it's like it's breaking the table. He realized it's like, "Uh-oh, I couldn't grab an extra pound." And then it's just like, boom! He fell on the flat back first on the ground. It's just like, oh my god, that's like the funniest fat joke I've seen in years, man.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. No, I love that part.
All right.
Oh my god, yeah. When I saw the vegetarian part, I thought that it made the elves look like I don't know, like hippies or something.
Not as much as hippie as the brown. Not as much of a hippie as the brown wizard, dude.
Yeah, true. I don't know what to call them then. Like elvish vegetarians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. Under adventure when they were trying to get out of Riverdale, and then finally they found. Finally, they were like at the cliffside, and oh my god!
Oh
I
god,
can't believe
yes.
they could. I can't believe they didn't add this in the animated movie because I also forgot about this in the book. The freaking giant rock colossus fighting each other.
Yeah, and it's like it's not a thunderstorm. It's a giant fight. And I'm like, what? A stone giant is a mountain fight? And
I was like, is that a meteorite? No, it's a thrown rock. By who? These giant colossi! Like,
oh my god, stone giants!
Dude, I had freaking goosebumps when I saw that. I was like,
yeah, oh my god, it was. I don't know. I know it's CGI, but like it just felt so epic. Like I couldn't even believe what I was seeing at that moment either. Like, holy shit! It's like they're freaking stone giants fighting each other, and these poor like dwarves and that one hobbit is like they're just in the middle of it.
Oh man, God. And oh man, it was like so. It was like everything was in peril when when these guys got fucking separated because these colossi were moving. And dude, they got even a gigantic colossi who's bigger than these other colossi fighting each other. Just like they were not big enough, this guy just like came. It's like taking half the landscape to be forming against fighting these other dudes, and it's like. Oh my goodness! Like the landscape that they were like all holding on to, they got separated, and it just like became the legs of the colossi. It's just like, oh my god! It's just like they were separated, and by the time like one of them got pushed away and handed on another cliffside, it looked like they were fucking dead. I'm like, no way they were going with this fucking kill these fucking characters so early, like 4 man.
Like I don't know, not only that, but like it kind of I had to wrap my mind around it. It was like, were these giants? Were they literally mountains? Like you had mountains fighting each other?
Oh
Like,
man, that was
like
so good. And
oh
and then like remember when these dwarves they got hit by the cliffside when one of those monsters
yeah,
got pushed away. I thought they were gonna kill him off. I'm like, no fucking way they're gonna get away with this. And then
yeah.
later on,
So,
miraculously, they survived after having being squished like
uh,
sandwiches. You know?
I thought like, damn, Bilbo is done. Like he's
Oh
gonna
yeah, and
be like,
Bilbo was on the cliffside, and oh my god, it was like, is this the part where we get a chance to see like the goblins and Gollum as soon as he falls down? But no, not yet. They were like they had to find like shelter, and they found this cave, right? And
yeah,
again, they were on the dramatic side where Bilbo was regretting about like entering this, joining this journey, right? And then
yeah, cause like that Theron, he's always saying shit about the Hobbit. Like he doesn't belong with us. He should never have been here. He's not even a warrior. He gotta fend for himself. I mean, come on, like that's just me.
yeah, and I was
Especially,
feeling more and more sad for Bilbo for actually deciding to join this journey because, man, it's just like he risked everything just to join you with you guys and become your burglar.
yeah.
And
I
then
mean, later on, Thorin. He was listening to like the conversation when he was pretending to be fall asleep, and then later on, the crack on the floor was all along a trap, and that was like, oh my god, that was like the best looking trap. That was like the smartest and yeah,
most unexpected trap ever. When they cracked the ground that they were sleeping on for shelter, they all fell down in this kingdom, and I'm like, wow, that
be
was like the
honest, dude.
fastest plot ever.
To be honest, dude, I thought I was like, oh god, those damn giants are at it again. Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then later on,
I
they were
was
all
like,
captured by
oh,
these goblins. I know these guys are fucking goblins, man, because these guys aren't orcs because they're too uh,
too
pesky to be
small.
orcs, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like too small and puny, and yeah, they just look like slightly different than the orcs who look more humanoid and buffish and
And for some reason, Bilbo managed to get away by just kneeling down while the crowd was just moving away, pushing the dwarves. It's just like
yeah, and it makes me wonder like how small is that hobbit? Like,
because as I recall, he's just the same size as the dwarves, right? It's just like
yeah, I mean, also not only that, but like dwarves are also pretty short too compared to man. So
yeah,
like,
yeah,
then
man,
you
and
have a
elves
hobbit.
especially. Some elves they're even taller than men.
Yeah, like oh my. Supposedly elves are depicted as like these taller, slender humanoids. Yeah,
Yeah,
like so. I guess yeah, so I guess like when they're depicted as kind of shorter, that's kind of weird. I guess. Well, yeah, the dwarves are like yeah, but it just makes you wonder like how damn small does like the Hobbit has to be, and I kind of noticed that yeah, they are the same size too. uh,
oh,
but
and
yeah.
oh, one more thing. Well, not one more thing. Like, moving on with the story. As soon as he was getting out, I was like, "Yep, this is the part where we're definitely gonna see Gollum." But how? And then later on, one of the Gollums caught caught Bilbo trying to escape, and he pushed him off the cliffside, and fell to their doom. But man, when the dwarfs were not to their doom, but to like out of the territory of the goblins, but my goodness, when the dwarves were like being pushed away to meet the king and see their consequences for entering their kingdom, that was like the ugliest, most fakest looking king I've ever seen in my life. Okay,
They're
monster
just
king,
mad.
right?
I think he has a tumor on his
No,
chin.
that's not a tuma, man. That's a scrotum.
It's a tumor.
No, it's
It's
not a
not a
tuma.
tumor.
It is not a tuma. It's a scrotum.
Whoa. Oh wow.
It's a
That
scrotum that
changed
doesn't have any
everything.
balls, dude. That's how fucking nasty it was just to look at the king. The
It had a
king
boil on it.
I wish they could make the king a little more godlinger instead of like more and less animated. Because when we were looking at this king, I was like, I can't take this seriously. This is just too humorous to actually see the scrotum
Yeah.
chin monster. It's just like,
It's ugly too. I mean, well, like, I mean, it's. I think there's only so much you can do with like, um, practical effects, but like, I guess I kind of like. I think like what I like about Peter Jackson and how he uses special effects. He uses special effects to tell a story, not the other way around. And so far in the film, like how he used it, like especially in the Goblin King, I think I liked how he used it. So it didn't really bother me too much when I saw the CGI Goblin King. But then again, it's like whenever you see CGI, everybody already instantly think it's fake, it's not real or anything.
oh, can you fix your screen? You're pixelated again. Okay, now you're clean. All right.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing. It's like you're playing with the iToy or something. When
Why
I'm
can't I
cleaning
read my
Windows,
motions? God damn it!
at least it works better than the fucking Kinect.
Oh God.
Yeah, fuck the Kinect. Anyway, back to the story. Oh
Yeah.
man, on Bilbo's side of the story, now he's at the bottom of the thingy, and we got a
Oh,
chance
dude.
to see Gollum again.
How they introduced Gollum was the best. Is the best introduction of Gollum ever, or for a character like that. It was amazing. Like you see Gollum, he's cheering and he's all happy that he found his food and he's killing this goblin. Like, oh my God, it was terrifying. Like he's pulling this creature and it's like
Oh yeah,
when you thought that.
it was pretty unique to see him that being this powerful. Like he was like knocking him out with a rock. It's like, oh my God, if Gollum is actually this powerful, why is the Gollum Kingdom over his shelter area?
Yeah, like and one thing I was like kind of scared was like when you think that the Gollum, like you think that the Goblin is scary, but when you see Gollum come into the mix, he's scarier. Like he
Yeah.
kills that thing with a rock, and
Oh
yeah,
man, when I saw Gollum in the Two Towers, it disturbed me to no end. It was like he's like he's like acting so dramatically and tortured. Remember when I'm being nostalgic here, but remember when Frodo and Samwise were pulling him on the neck? He was like I'm like, oh my God, why are they keeping this freak of nature? It's like,
yeah, and it's like then
and
you
then later on
feel
when it start
sad.
talking, and then later on when you continue watching Two Towers, he start talking to himself, and it's just like, now I'm starting to like this character a lot more.
Oh my God, and yeah, and it kind of also adds more insight to the character. Like, is he sometimes like says precious, and he talks to himself, referring to himself as precious. It makes me wonder if his dual personality is like when he refers to precious. You wonder if he's talking to the ring. Is the ring talking to him?
Yeah, I was
Like,
really surprised to see that. I was really surprised that he dropped his ring as soon as he was picking up his victim,
yeah,
and then it's just like that was like the fastest way you can actually take a ring like that because I find a little
yeah,
continuity error when like when you see the flashback of Bilbo's story in the Fellowship of the Ring, it was just like Bilbo going up in the up on this high cliffside and just start digging. He's like, oh, what's this? It's like,
oh, I
oh, I
found a
thought they were
ring.
gonna do the same thing on this movie. So now it's like
Yeah,
next on the next DVD or Blu-ray release of the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, they're actually gonna edit that scene.
I really don't want him to pull like a George Lucas. Like, I'm sorry, but like once you have something in like the original film, just leave it alone. Like, you don't need to do it, and people will understand. It's another movie. It's going to be different than what was originally intended, and I think people should be able. I think they should be able to understand it. I think they can and will. I don't think you need to change your original work just to adapt or accompany like a recent one. That's one of the things that people hate about George Lucas, and the biggest part that people hated was that he never released the original versions of his film. That's what his
Are
fans
you
were
talking
only
about
asking.
the unedited one where they actually didn't change Darth Vader's voice?
Yeah, like all those
What? You
things.
really want to go back there when he didn't sound when he sounded like the rebels come Go over there. It's like that's not the one that goes. Because when they did the edit in 1977.
No,
Oh
no, not, dude. I'm not talking about. Are you talking about Darth Vader right now,
no, we're talking about the original Star Wars before they did the edits.
dude? Like even like the original like
Oh,
release.
okay. I thought you were arguing about like. I want the original non-edited version. I mean, like back.
No, 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 dude. The original release of the movies,
Oh,
like
okay. The original release. Now you're making
that's not
sense
what I
because when you
like,
said non-edited one, I'm like, why do you want to go back there? Because when they did the edits back in
dude. You're
1977.
going way
Okay,
too
the
far. No,
original
no,
one.
no,
Original
no.
one. Okay.
Like what my point is that like what pissed off his fans was just that he never released the original release of the movie. It was what it was originally when it was released in movie theaters, and those were the movies that people growing up and loved. And I don't know, man. I guess George Lucas didn't understand that, and I'm just hoping that Peter Jackson doesn't do that because, like, I don't know. It's like how he. So I guess if you could call this Hobbit movie like a prequel, he does one hell of a good job on a prequel. Like, is really fucking good, and
Yeah.
I don't
Much
think
better
he.
than the Star Wars fucking prequels, dude.
Yeah, Peter Jackson's having a better track record than George Lucas right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Dude, I'm
I don't
telling
know.
you, you're saying that Peter Jackson has a better track record? He accomplished that what George Lucas will never do: win Academy Award for Best Director and Best Picture.
Oh man, well it's like I guess it's kind of like some weird payback because like the animation movie of The Hobbit, supposedly it lost like an award to Star Wars back then.
Oh yeah, the Ralph Bakshi animated movie. It lost in the box office against because yeah, it was just like no. At first it was Wizards that was going up against the Star Wars movie. It's just like oh god, what was it? Okay, first it was the Lord of the Rings movie, and then Wizards came after it, which is like Ralph Bakshi's picture, and
Yeah.
it was supposed to be going up against Star Wars. It was Wizards that was trying to go up against Star Wars. Just to let
Well,
you
I
know.
mean, yeah, but it's understandable. It's Star Wars, I guess. But
Okay,
anyway,
but let's continue on about like
yeah.
Gollum's story because this is the highlight of the whole movie. Not just because of its nostalgic reasons, but performance level. It's just
That's
like cinema and acting and CGI masterpiece at its best.
the expressions of Gollum, they're just done so well, and
And
like,
the way he was like trying to get to the tone and the execution of what they were going for, it worked very well because the audience reaction was just exactly what they were intended for. Like when Gollum was like, "A game? Oh, a game? Yes, we love games. Hobbits just don't like games." And Hobbit and
yeah,
Bilbo was like, "No, stay back! I swear, I'm gonna kill you." It's like,
yeah.
and it's like,
I
okay,
got the sword.
but before he was about to kill him and all that stuff, I absolutely love the fact that he just said, "I want games. Yeah, you win. Okay,
It's like,
Gollum will help you out. If you lose,
oh,
Gollum will eat the
yeah.
precious."
People laughed at that part. Like, if Hobbit lose, Precious eats it. Like, we were
Yeah, and
laughing.
oh, one more thing. I absolutely love this part where he was hiding behind a rock in front of Bilbo, and he was like talking to himself. He was like, "What did you say? We're not talking. We're not talking to you." It was
Yeah.
like I was like
What's in
bursting
my
out
pocket?
laughing. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh my god, this is like the perfect CGI acting performance ever." And I
yeah.
forgot how was the the freaking the riddles that they were playing because they were definitely following the book at this point. I forgot the riddles they were playing, but I absolutely love like how the game keeps going, continue on because the intensity. Even though we already know how the story goes as Lord of the Rings fans who experienced the book, um, it's just like the intensity of like how is Bilbo gonna win this game? It's like oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like each riddle, each part of the game, each part of the riddle. It's just like it's fantastic. They did not edit. I mean, like I know they did edits, but there was no scene cuts to like where what's happening to the dwarves at the same time that this game is happening now.
Um,
It's just like from beginning to end, that scene had to be started from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. It's just like, oh my god, it's just like it was like perfect to see this old friend Gollum, even though we both hate him and love him at the same time. He's just like, this is just like perfect. I absolutely love the
yeah,
fact that
like I love like how like in the movie like when they're doing the riddles like it just increasingly gets more intense,
yeah,
like it's just going to that next level, especially when it reaches its climax
yeah, it
with
reaches
regards
his
to the ring.
climax too. What do I have in me pockets? I'm like, it's pockets? No, it's just a, that's not
That's not a fair
fair.
question. Yeah,
That's
and
not
I
fair. Gollum, Gollum.
yeah I don't even think that was like an intentional question either. I think just he was just trying to think right off the bat. What do I got in my pocket? What else am I gonna say? Then suddenly Gollum is like, "What?" And I just
And
love
he's like,
back and
what?
forth with
He's
it.
like, nothing. No. And he's like hiding the ring in his pocket. He's like, nothing. He's like trying to touch his pocket. He's like,
Then Gollum connects
here's it.
to.
Here's it. And then when Bilbo was running away, it was kind of really intense to see what the hell is Gollum gonna do once he gets his hands on him. And it
Yeah,
because he was stuck between like two really smushed up ledges of
rocks.
this really close. He was like being stuck in this like little small you know exit zone, and just like as soon as he made it through, immediately the ring once again just flew up in the air and fell inside his finger, just like in to the same thing that happened to Frodo when he got pushed down in the bar. It's just
Yeah,
like
but it was kind of different. I like how it just kind of spins on his finger and rolls around before it goes into his finger.
it's like
Like
alley oop,
I thought,
it's a slam dunk.
yeah,
like,
like
but
let me do like a spinny alley oop and dip and jump and go right in there or
yeah,
something.
exactly. And you know what was also great about this film? Oh man, you know what? Haven't you realized that when he's wearing you know haven't you realized that when Bilbo was wearing the ring, it didn't have that much effect when he was in that world. It's like when Frodo wears the ring, it's like everything's all black and white. It feels like a thunder of 1,000, like 180 miles per hour of winds just like passing through like a hurricane, right? And this one,
Well,
it's just like it's pure black and white, and everything is all in slow motion, right?
yeah, I know. Well, I mean, like, well, I maybe Mordor. I'm assuming that's the villain. Like, maybe he wasn't powerful yet, or wasn't.
Sauron, he wasn't powerful yet, but remember, his
Yeah,
presence was still in the ring at that time. I don't think it was like at the stage where it's like breaking through. It's breaking through like maturity or anything like that. Like it's getting ready to be resurrected.
yeah. I mean, I guess when you think about it, yeah, it should make more sense. Like you would expect more weird shit happening when he puts on the ring.
But remember, Gollum had that ring since he was. Remember, Gollum had that ring for a very long time, like centuries, right? So it's
Did
like
Gollum? Do you think that Gollum ever wore it? Like, oh, let me
yeah,
let
I
me
think
put it
he
on.
wore it, but I'm still surprised that the orcs still hasn't found him yet.
I guess.
Or probably he never likes wearing it. He just loves. He's just a fucking obsessed with the precious. But anyway,
My
as
precious.
soon as Bilbo was invisible, Gollum had a hard time looking for Bilbo. It's just like he was.
Yeah.
It's just like he couldn't find him anywhere, even especially in the caves. And Bilbo was like following him for a way out. But at the same time, Gandalf came to the rescue to save the fucking dwarves against these fucking goblins. And it was just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is what I came for. This epic battle for their way out. It's just like, but that doesn't get any better. I mean, like, of course they had to kill the scrotum bearded king. It's just like,
They had to kill the scrotum. They had to cut it.
I mean the
The
scrotum
scrotum.
bearded king. Okay,
Bearded scrotum king.
yeah, let's kill the
It
scrotum.
had a boil. It's a tumor. Not a tumor.
It is not a
Oh my
tumor.
god. Not a tumor. Oh
Okay, but
man. Well,
all right.
Gandalf, he cuts that thing. He cuts like across his chin. Like I was expecting it to fall off that scrotum or
Oh,
something.
dude, I don't even want to know what's inside that scrotum.
I don't think many people want to know either.
Yeah, I'm surprised
I
that
thought.
I'm surprised that as more action oriented as this thing is, I don't think I can. Okay, other than like the Dwarf King getting beheaded, I don't think I've seen any blood in this movie.
Yeah, me either.
All right,
Well, I
but
don't
what
think
did
it
you think
needs
about?
to.
But what did you think about the action sequences of like the dwarves and Gandalf fighting all these goblins?
It was epic. It was, oh my god, another highlight of, it was beautiful, like another highlight of the movie. Like suddenly you see these dwarves are doing their thing and they're kicking ass and hitting. One dwarf I think was spinning like a pole, like a staff or something, and like oh my gosh, and like it's like I don't know, it's like I never. These are like an awesome band of heroes or dwarves or like fierce warriors, and I love seeing like Thane or what's his name, Theron.
Thorin.
Thorin. I just love seeing him fight, like especially when he was going to do a showdown between like the Pale Orc and him. Like
We're
I
not
was,
at that point of the movie yet.
I know, I know.
They're still trying to fight these fucking goblins, and that was really weird. That like
Uh,
at the part where they were about to escape to find the exit zone,
oh
there
wait,
was like this
there
bridge
was
between. No. There's like this bridge where it's like one cliffside to the other, and then like where Gandalf and the dwarves were at on one side, that's where the king was at on the other side. And once again,
I
remember
thought
when Gandalf sliced his scrotum section?
scrotum section.
I'm still gonna keep calling it a scrotum, okay? It looks like a scrotum,
Scrotum here.
but dude. At that point, I thought they were gonna do that. You shall not pass.
Dude, I was going to say the same thing. Like, were you waiting for him to say
I
that?
was
Like,
waiting for it. It's like, let us pass.
yeah, I was thinking like, when is he going to say that? Like, you will not pass. Like, oh my god. Then it's like you see the dwarf do it instead. I was like, ah. And it was
It's like Gandalf's
oh
like,
my god.
I'm soon to say that. Shh! I cut your scrotum, and then that was really funny when they were falling down, and when they reached the bottom, they all got hurt, and like, oh, it can't get any worse. And then the king fell on top of them when he's lying there on top of their dead. It just
Yeah, like
got worse.
in the trailer, I thought he was one of the trolls. To be honest,
It's
like,
like,
damn,
when
it's
the
like,
hell did the trolls get a scrotum on their beards? Like,
or I was thinking like, what the hell did they have to do to hit that troll to fall down on them? Big axe, like maybe Theron got really pissed or something. Like, let me hit you with my sword, and maybe hit him with a log, and he just maybe orcs or trolls are like allergic to wooden logs by 100%.
all right, but this is a really beautiful scene. You know, when Bilbo was still invisible, he saw
Yeah,
Gandalf and all the dwarves running away, and
yeah.
you know what was really surreal?
What?
Because Gollum was hiding away from Gandalf and the dwarves who were trying to
Oh
either
my
escape.
god,
Dude,
yeah.
what's really surreal because I never thought this would ever happen? Gandalf and Gollum in the same freaking frame. When they did that slow motion and Gollum was hiding and Gandalf was just like running away, it's like something. It was like something out of Photoshop, like it was fan made. But no, Gandalf and Gollum in the same frame is like. I know that they never they never interacted, but they were in the same frame. It's like that's so surreal. This is even more bizarre to see than seeing, you know, you know, the two high elves, Saruman and Gandalf, talking together in the same room. You know?
I know, it's like it's two characters that you never really thought that were in the series would be like would actually well not meet but be close to each other, like in proximity.
Yeah, and when Bilbo was about to slay, had his opportunity to slay Gollum.
He
I
doesn't
was
do
about to say
it.
that no way they're gonna kill him off because that's just going to be a continuity error where it's like, if he's dead, then how the fuck did Frodo and Samwise manage to see him again in the Lord of the Rings? But then again, that was like brilliant acting performances. I don't know if it's like the CG or it was
I'm amazed that the CGI like Gollum looks like you could see a lot of resemblance between him and the actual real life actor.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if it was like, the CG or Andy's Serkis's acting performances, but when he looked sympathetic, oh my god,
Uh,
that was so
it was
effective.
heartbreaking.
He was just like it's just like when the sword was pointing up to him, and he had absolutely no idea it was pointing up to him. He started shedding a tear, and he was like, I'm like, oh my god, that's like the most saddest thing I've ever seen in the Lord of the Rings series. And then it was something that like I forgot what was that one thing
Then
that
he
Gandalf
kicks him.
said. I forgot that one thing that Gandalf said that
It's like
totally relates to
one
that
thing
scene.
about it was not about bravery.
It's
It's
like
like
it's like you don't
I
need a
hope
lot
you
of
don't ever
bravery.
have to use your sword. And he's like,
No, 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 no. It's not all about bravery. It's about like sparing another or something like that, right?
it's like I think he said like the true test of bravery is not knowing is not knowing when to take a life, but when to spare it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly what he said. I'm glad somebody remembers it because I can't believe I forgot it. Oh man, and also, I absolutely love this scene. He just kicks Gollum and runs out of the room. I mean, runs out of the exit zone. It's just like beautiful. Couldn't
Yeah.
even believe that was executed very well. It's just like Gollum's like 50 hobbits, thieves, terrible thieves.
Yeah. He's so scary when he does that.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're
just like
close
whatever
up.
mood he is, it's effective. That's what I absolutely love about the Gollum character.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
when you
when
think
he was
about it,
running
it's like,
down the hill, trying to find Gandalf and Thorin and the rest of the dwarves, it's just like when he stopped and some across them, he just like stopped being visible, but he was invisible for a short period of time just to hear their conversation. And like,
yeah, and like there, he's saying more shit about Baggins, and I'm like, oh, come on. At this point, he's never gonna want to. He's gonna probably stay invisible at this point and just go home. But like, I love how Baggins he takes off the ring and he's like, you know what? I'm here. I'm not gonna ditch you guys. I'm gonna prove you guys wrong. I'm gonna help you out.
yeah,
It's even I don't know. Even if he didn't reveal how he got back, as I love how I said it's like I'm gonna get you back your home because like I have a home but you guys don't, and I'm gonna help you guys get it back. And I thought it was a very touching scene.
yeah. Oh,
Oh my
one
goodness!
more thing I absolutely love. One more thing. We gotta continue on. We're almost to the end.
All
Oh
right,
man! As soon as they were at the cliffside, they finally encountered once again the pale orc and his freaking dogs. And now, oh
yeah, oh
my
my god,
god, that was so fucking epic when they were like running to the cliffside on top of the trees next to another cliffside. It's just like they had to do it just to hide away from these ferocious dogs, these
it's like
ferocious canines that were bloodthirsty for these dwarves, right?
yeah, and it's like out of the pan into the fire. And it's like oh
Yeah, and it was really cool that Gandalf was learning something from the Brown Wizard. Was like, you got to use your nature to for your advantage. And then he was like, we
yeah,
got to burn these acorns and make fire. It's like, oh my god, that's the smartest thing. But as a matter of fact, it's the dumbest thing because they're being
pine
pushed on.
bombs maybe. It's like I was thinking, oh, he's making pine bombs because
Pine bombs.
he's burning pine cones and throwing it at them. Oh,
Oh,
pine
and
cones.
another thing, they were like in the close to the edge, and I absolutely love the scene where Gandalf found his moth, and he was just like capturing it. It's just like talking to him. It's like, you gotta help me find these eagles and all that stuff. And then he just let him go. And then he's just like, it's only a matter of time till those fucking eagles come back and all that stuff. It's just like, whenever there's
Eagle
eagles,
Run.
there's hope. But man, you know,
Oh,
God, what was that?
that build up of like, oh my god, when
Yeah, the
Theron
build up
realizes
for
he's not dead.
Thorin to get back on the Pale King, right? It's just like he's walking past through the fire. That the fire's giving him away because his rage is more fiery than the fire itself.
And
And then
he's holding his shield and he's readying his sword. And I was like, oh yes, I want to see,
and the
I
one
want
thing
to
I
see the
didn't get,
showdown.
the one thing I didn't get is that why didn't the dwarves help him? I know that they're at the edge, but that's just the one dwarf that almost fell to his demise. Okay, two dwarfs that almost fell to his demise. The rest of them were like hang on to like strong branches that they can actually help them get across and all that stuff.
Well, you could say the same thing to the other orcs. Like, why didn't the orc accompany him when he was charging him with his like white wolf thing?
Yeah, and it was Bilbo who had to actually help save Thorin's ass by just like just like tackling the white orc. It's just, no, not the white orc. The one of the orcs who was performing execution. It's just like I'm
Yeah.
surprised that I admire his bravery, but he didn't do what he didn't do kill anybody until wait, he did kill somebody,
Mm,
right?
he killed the wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed a
Oh, yeah,
wolf.
that was one of the funny parts. Is like every time when he loses a sword, I'm like, no, don't lose it. You have to keep it for
And
continuity
then the rest
purposes.
of the dwarves later on, I think the rest of the dwarves later on just came back for rescuing Thorn because Thorn he was brutally brutally hammered down, man. Because
Yeah, it's like
the pale orcs' white wolf he bit him right through the stomach and threw him up in the air. He's bleeding to death. It's just like no way that this guy could survive. It's just like oh my god,
I thought he was
the
about to die
intensity
too.
and the epicness couldn't even describe how good the scene was. And Bilbo came
Yeah,
for the rescue, and the dwarves were fighting, and then that's still not good enough to win the battle. And then later on, the eagles came to save their asses, and it's just like it was so beautiful. It just felt like it. Once again, it was like that beautiful nostalgic feeling from Return of the King when the eagles saved Frodo and Samwise from the volcano, but at this part, they were like saving them from the being attacked by these orcs at these cliff sides. Just like man, that was so
yeah,
beautiful.
like oh my god, this like I don't know, it's like yeah, it's like yeah, it's like this big epic showdown. Like you could kind of see like the hate brewing in Thane and Theron, and like I don't know. At some point, I thought Theron was just gonna jump off right off and off that tree with the wolf surrounding him just to fight that orc guy. I mean, I'm thinking
I
like
thought Thorin was gonna die in that scene because it's like no way they're gonna pull uh the Sean Bean thing.
yeah, he was
Boromir. Yeah, I never wanted Boromir to die because he's kind of like Wolverine, to the Fellowship, but it's just like it was just like, oh my god, why did no way Thorin is gonna have to die, but then at the end, Gandalf did his magic, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm
he's
glad that
back alive.
I was glad that each and every one of those characters in the group survived, unlike the
Yeah,
Fellowship that didn't work out together.
yeah. It's like one guy died, then the fellowship was broken.
I
Then
know
like
that they're trying to follow the story in the Hobbit book. But they should have used the Eagles that actually flew him to the Lonely Mountain.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It's
I
like,
guess they
why
brought
did
him.
they have to let the Eagles go? It's like the Eagles are like
Maybe
saying,
the Eagles were tired. They were like,
is it like the Eagles are saying like, okay, we did you good, we did you enough, so we're just leaving you, just like
I,
that. It's like,
I was thinking the same thing, but if they did that, it would be way too easy. Like,
yeah,
I
probably.
I,
I
I, don't know, I thought it was kind of funny too. Like they just didn't fly them all the way. I'm assuming maybe the Eagles were just out of gas and they were like, we gotta park here and just recharge your batteries and eat stuff. Then we'll help you later.
oh yeah.
Plus, like Theron was kind of dying, so they had to put him down. Because
But
of
anyway,
yeah.
that was really cool when they did that epic posing scene, and then that's just like showing that they're closer to like the Lonely Mountain. But we got a close glance of the Lonely Mountain to see what the dragon looked like. We
Yeah,
still have not seen what the dragon fucking looked like. All we
and
saw was a
that's
pile of
epic when he
treasure,
built
and
up.
then
Oh,
his eyes was like popping out of the treasure that he was buried in because he was spoiled with fucking treasure, and he just
that's
opened his eyes, and I'm like, okay, we see this
creepy
dragon,
fucking
but
dragon, man, I tell you.
yeah, that dragon looks so intimidating by judging by the look of his eye and what he was capable of when he was attacking the dwarf kingdom. But I can't imagine seeing this dragon talk just like the animated movie.
Oh my! If he were to talk, I think it would have to be done in a way that would which would kind of complement like a dragon's body or how we would. I mean, who knows what a dragon would sound like at this point?
Yeah,
Maybe, maybe there's no
not like
food.
Spyro the Dragon because he's a baby dragon
Oh
or
my god!
ninja
Like
dragon, either way.
the funny thing about when I first saw this dragon, I was like, I didn't see like how huge the dragon was at first, but I was thinking like, you know who they need to call? They need to get themselves a dragonborn or something
A
like
dragonborn. No,
to
but
help
they
them.
got a
Like,
burglar,
what's
and they
wrong
still
with
have
this
that.
bitch?
They still have a
No.
burglar. Bilbo, but we're still waiting for like freaking him to use the ring once again. And of course, we're not Bill. For continuity reasons, none of the characters will see Bilbo turn invisible at all. But um, anyway, I so absolutely can't wait for part two. I'm a little
Yeah.
concerned. I'm a little concerned. How are they going to continue? How are they going to make this into three parts? Because I can imagine this to be two parts, but into a trilogy?
Is it confirmed that they're gonna make it in three?
Yep.
Oh wow! I really imagine this being done at two because
Yeah, me
they're
too.
really at the mountainside. Like, what more do they need to do?
Yeah, because all they're doing in the rest of the film is like they're close to the lonely mountain, and then not only that, they're having problems with the fighting the trying to get the treasure back from the dragon, but also they're remember the dwarves are having the conflict with the elves that it leads them off to a battle, a three-way war.
Wow!
Yeah, it's like man versus the elves versus the dwarves. It's just like
And
it's gonna be coming to an epic battle and all that stuff. It's just like I really
and
don't know what they're gonna do with part two. Probably they're gonna separate or something, or they're gonna see Gollum. I honestly don't know.
I guess Thorin did say he would choose these dwarves over the mightiest armies. I guess. And
Oh man.
I'm just wondering that too. But I felt like the movie it just ended beautifully. Like it ends them on the mountain, and they're looking from a distance as the sun is rising. It's a beautiful scene, and like oh my goodness, like it was just perfect. Like how that ended and how it was leading up to the dragon, and also Thorin like he's always saying shit about Baggins, but suddenly he finally accepts Baggins. It's just an amazing payoff too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man. I know we just saw this movie, but I want fucking part two right now.
Yeah, dude, like oh my god, it's just I just can't wait to see. Well, the thing is that I think that the movies already have been made and they're just going to be released like yearly, I would assume.
Probably. I honestly
Because
don't know.
like yeah, because like before they even released it, like I think their trilogy, they made it. They took a couple of years just to make the film. Then after a couple of years passed, they suddenly released it. I think the same thing happened here because like some of these actors, they're from the BBC,
Hmm.
the British television network, and some of
Oh,
them.
now I recognize. Now that you mention it, now I recognize who's the actor of Bilbo. He was the guy. He's. I think he's the main character from the British version of The Office.
Maybe
Let me see.
he was also in.
I'm going to do a quick research. It's Martin Freeman,
Well,
he was. He was in the comedy The Office.
no,
BBC's The Office.
that's amazing. He's also Watson from the British version of Sherlock Holmes, which is a really good series.
Hmm.
It's like Sherlock Holmes put in modern times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and like the thing about it was that some of these like some of these actors from their other shows, like you know the guy who shoots an arrow,
Yeah.
the dwarf, he's also from the British version of Being Human. And that character, he was taken off of that show, and I never understood why, and that was a long time ago. Then I realized he was taken off of that show so he could start filming for the Lord of the Rings. And it's like there's like a considerable amount of time, like a big gap, that was them being gone, and I guess they were doing this for a couple of years.
Yeah. Man, what are you expecting to see in part two of The Hobbit?
I think in one of the behind the scenes, like the dwarves at some point they get into big like beer tugs and they float down a river
You know what I'm expecting to see? I'm
like
pretty
a
much
rocking
expect.
river.
I'm pretty much expecting to see, seeing the first time the Necromancer. We still
Oh
have
my!
not seen this dude.
I can't imagine with the necromancer. It was like how he came
He
in
was
looked
just a
amazing.
silhouette, dude. He was just pure black.
Yeah, I thought he was just nothing but a shadow. I straight up thought that was Sauron, not Sauron, Moldor. I thought it was straight up
No,
that
it is
guy.
Sauron.
Oh really?
Yeah, Mordor is the name of the mountain.
Oh wait, what's the name? Oh, Sauron is the evil monster dude.
Yeah.
That guy. I thought it was straight up Sauron, dude. I'll be honest with you. Like I was like, damn, this is like he looks different. He doesn't have the evil eye thing going on. He's a nice.
Yeah, it's like finally a part of the Lord of the Rings movie that doesn't do the evil eye.
Yeah, I was like, it's a good look for Sauron. He's slender. He's using black. It's good for his figure. Shadowy.
Hmm.
I think a lady killer. I have to say. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lady Killer. Okay, now let's be brutally honest here. What did you think about the casting and the acting?
Amazing. Like phenomenally, just great. Like the casting is just done so well. Like I don't know. It's a really big chance too, because most of these guys in this movies, other than Gandalf and and the Guardians of the Realm, like they're pretty much unknown. Especially Baggins, the young version.
All right.
Like these guys, they're literally just TV stars from the British television show.
Hmm.
They have most of them have I don't think have really been in a major motion picture. So like when you think about that and like Peter Jackson taking a gamble on them, it paid off. They might become the next big stars.
Yeah, and most
It's like,
importantly, I'm glad that all of our favorite actors from from the original Lord of the Rings, uh, you know, they're all not all of them are here, but many of them that were part of the Hobbit story, they're definitely here, and I'm glad they have not changed a single thing about that. It's just like that is
yeah,
great business decision, you know?
I also love like the how well like Peter Jackson uses like the cameos in his films, like Frodo to the original like old Baggins. Like they feel like they're not just there to make a cameo; they're playing a role in the movie.
Yeah, it's just like that was what I was really worried about, like seeing old characters but the younger version of themselves. It's just like nothing has changed, and that's a good thing. I mean, like the scenery
Yeah,
of Middle Earth, it's just the same as it was 10 years ago.
yeah, like it's like it's like it's still the same way it was. It's like it still has its old charms. Like nothing has changed, and it's still the same old Middle Earth we all know and love.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like I fell in love with the scenery. It's just like I'm glad nothing has changed because sometimes when like a new sequel has come out, it's just like they're gonna come
Yeah,
out with better CGI and just like it feels like a different universe. Not in this movie. I have absolutely no idea why this
the
film got
scenery.
this film is having like a negative reception for most people. Those guys are fucking idiots because they
No,
did almost everything right. The only problem I have is the fucking scrotum Goblin King.
yeah. Well, the thing is like what I love about the scenery is that it's just staying true to the original, to what the world was like. It stays true to Middle Earth, or what to the core of it. Like it's just beautiful lands, and I don't know. And there's some parts that just does not look like New Zealand. Like it's totally something else too.
All right,
Like it
now
adds.
now to
Oh,
wrap
goodness.
up this vlog, um, I just want to ask you one more question. I remember on our last vlog we were talking about the Avengers, and Avengers was
Uh,
was our pick back then as our favorite movie of 2012. Is Hobbit: The Unexpected Journey better, in your opinion, better than the Avengers movie?
I think a lot of people are gonna hate me, but like Avengers is good. Each movie is good in its own way, but I think yeah, Avengers are gonna have a contender. Like is like I guess you saved the best for last, and I think like Hobbit: The Middle Earth is probably probably my newest favorite film of this year.
Ah, good pick. Now, for
Yeah.
me, I still can't decide. I mean, I've been thinking about this since last night. Do I like this movie better than the Avengers, or do I like Avengers better than The Hobbit?
Well,
Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. All right. What was your least favorite thing of the Avengers movie? Captain America
Captain America
and his new outfit, huh?
and his new outfit.
And what's our least favorite part of this movie? The Hobbit movie?
Well,
The Scrotum King.
for me, I just loved everything about the movie, even the Scrotum King guy. He
Okay,
was
dude,
being
think
shit.
about it. Think about it. All right, which one has a bigger negative? Captain America's pajama-looking outfits in the Avengers movie, or the Scrotum King?
I think the Scrotum King is like more awesome than whatever the hell Steve Rogers was wearing. That was awful. That could
Oh
cause a
my
poor man to
god.
go blind.
Well, I know
Captain
that
America,
part two
oh
is
my
going to be.
god, my eyes!
Oh god.
Sorry.
I know
Like,
that part two is going to be better than deep down in my heart, I know that part two of The Hobbit is going to be better than the original, than part one because, A, no Scrotum King. Two, they're promising us that we're going to see the Necromancer. Three, we're definitely going to have a showdown with, the Pale King. And four, we're probably going to see Gollum again. I'm not sure
well,
how, but we're going to see. I'm hoping that we're going to see Gollum again. And
yeah, he
five, I
travels outside.
honestly don't know what they're going to cover in part two because they're also going to come up with the epic battle scene before they capture the treasure against the dragon, and not to mention that they're going to have to fight the dragon again. You know?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit unfair to compare like two of the films because like I don't know because uh they're like Hobbit and the Avengers. They're both different films and they're good in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just fell in love. Like I just really like how the like Hobbit just kind of like lured me and pulled me into the story. It's so rich in like atmosphere and environment, and the characters are like so amazing. Like oh my god, it's hard not to like fall in love with the film. And then like the Avengers, they're dealing with like superheroes, and like that's everyone's favorite thing. But like I don't know, it's like the Hobbit, it just won me over. Like I wasn't expecting to really fall like really like love like a legion of like dwarves kicking ass. Like I didn't think I would have that much fun seeing them like fighting and gallantly like into like an army of I don't know, trolls or golems or something. Oh my god, it's just a great film.
Yeah.
Uh,
Overall,
overall,
I still can't wait to see like a DVD release, and I'll be really more than looking forward to see like an unlimited edition of the part one of The Hobbit because I know that there's probably deleted scene that they had to cut for theatrical release. Another
yeah.
disappointment I have is that this is probably the first time I've seen a Lord of the Rings movie. Okay, a Lord of the Rings franchise movie that's under 3 hours.
Come on, dude. That's the showing. The time was like it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours. I didn't. I went into the movie when it
No,
was
no,
still
no. It was
sunny.
so good, it didn't even feel like 3 hours, in my
It
personal opinion.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't. But like, oh my goodness. Oh my god. But it's like it came out when I came out. It was dark, but like, yeah, it didn't feel like 3 hours either. Like I felt like I wanted to see more.
All right. So, everybody, um, I wish everybody that I'm just so happy that I finally made this vlog with Highwings89 here because this is my first video in like 5 months since I moved here to America and take the school, and I'm definitely coming back to Japan in this Christmas break. And I'll be definitely coming back to gaming in the '90s. I don't know how many episodes I'm gonna do because of course, gaming in the '90s take like I don't know, like 30 minutes each episode, and they took me like days on end just write down all the scripts of all the games released each consecutive year. And I'm not guaranteeing everybody that I'm not gonna be finishing gaming in the '90s, but I'll be finishing up from where I started. So, during the Christmas break when I finally get back in JP, I'm gonna start from gaming in the '90s, 1993. I'm gonna try my best to reach to finishing 1995 because oh my goodness, where can I describe how incomplete gaming in the '90s was? I'm so anticipated to see it finished, and I'm glad that everybody voted for gaming in the '90s to be the one video I should be coming back to. And oh my goodness, I'm so pumped up to do it. And also another thing that we also should be looking forward to is definitely the Boo Chow 2012 award, and don't forget the legit Animation Awards 2012. Oh my goodness, 2 podcast awards all in like one Christmas break.
Oh my God, you're gonna do it on the same day?
Yeah, I'm happy that my family's giving me the opportunity to, do whatever I want instead of like doing all these Christmassy traditions that we always do. That always keeps me from working on and stuff because they really miss me that much, and I really miss my family that much as well. And it's just like, it feels like it's great to come back home, but it's even better that they're letting me do whatever I want when I'm still there in Japan. Yeah. So, did you enjoy your birthday, Highwings?
Yeah, I did. It was good. I got clothes.
Don't worry, man. I gave you your birthday present coming through the mail. I still can't. I hope that you enjoy it once it arrives, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, dude. So everybody, we hope that you enjoyed this vlog and hope you enjoyed this first video in the last 5 months. And also, be on the lookout for all these great things that we're planning to do on itstailtime.net. So everybody, what was a good way to say goodbye in Lord of the Rings? It's like in Star Wars that they say like "Let the Force be with you" or something like that.
We should hum the dwarf chant, like dun 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 dun.
Okay, so everybody, boo chow!
Boo chow.